how common is this to you guys in your ranked games? How common is it for you guys to just absolutely dominating a defense, and then in the overtime fight, we lose, and then they cap a point, and then it happens again on the next section of the map. We're absolutely dominating them here on third, and then right as it's about to hit overtime, they win. This window is great if Rhine is the only threat on the table. The problem with this window right now is, again, the first 2 seconds aren't going to do anything besides force a shield from a Reinhardt. There's no one besides you also shooting through this, so it's not obvious that Reinhardt is the target for the rest of your team. Orisa is dealing with Soldier. There's people down here that are pressuring our Hog. Our Soldier's dead, so we can't shoot through this. Hanzo might be shooting at the Reinhardt, but that's kind of it during this moment, and if Reinhardt survives this pressure, which I think he's likely to from this situation, then this window is going to be wasted, and our focus is going to be split. At the very least, I would like to see you using the window on the high ground here, just because it gives you the same opportunity and more. It gets you healing on the Orisa, it gets you damage opportunities over here, it keeps you safer because it's high ground, and it lets you do things like if people come behind you, you can just drop off high ground or start facing the other way, whereas here, if you're trying to flip the map, you end up in Reinhardt's hammer. So, small things, again, we're not telegraphing our play, but we are, what's the word I'm looking for? We're premeditating a little too hard and not reacting to what's happening in the moment. We're thinking too much about, oh, it's just Rhine on cart, I'm going to window him, he's going to die. It's not always that simple. And as we're about to see, I think... Okay, never mind, Rhine's just going it's overtime, so he has to stay on cart, I guess. He almost goes down. And the window actually finds a ton of value because we can heal a Hanzo through window, but it overexposes us at the same time. We didn't get enough value from that window. It causes a lot of us to be overexposed to that grab, and we end up going down and dying there when we could have stayed alive. Again, if we were up here with window with our Hanzo, I think we just win the fight instantly. The Soldier doesn't get to play here. The Zarya is dead along with the Reinhardt. Lots of good things happen. Oh no, a tragedy. The classic Overwatch overtime. So, how common is this to you guys in your ranked games? How common is it for you guys to just absolutely dominating a defense, and then in the overtime fight, we lose, and then they cap a point, and then it happens again on the next section of the map. We're absolutely dominating them here on third, and then right as it's about to hit overtime, they win. Very accurate, right. Do you guys know why this happens? And this is not like an individual problem. This is not a Chase Knave problem. This is not a Baptiste problem. Yes, like I said, this window could have been a lot better, and that plays into part of the problem, but it's not the whole problem itself. So, why do people choke overtime fights on defense so often? There's typically two things that play into this. There's so actually let's look at it again from your perspective and look at what you're doing individually that plays into this problem. And it's literally going to be the window play. Spoiler alert. So in this moment, when we're deciding to window, it feels like from our POV, we are already winning the fight. And the problem comes from when we feel like we're winning the fight to leading to us taking more risks. And risks doesn't always mean putting ourselves in danger. Risks means throwing out abilities, ultimates, positioning, focus fire without guaranteed value. If we're sort of gambling on the value of this window. We're playing a lower percentage play because it feels like we don't need to have guaranteed value because we're already winning. We're already dominated this defense up to this point. Even if they have ultimates, they don't even have that strong of ultimates. They got Nano and Grab. I mean, Grab's pretty strong, but it shouldn't be like enough to win this point when we've got window, when we've got positioning, when we've got numbers advantage and things like that. This is very much in our favor. The problem lies in all 6 of us as individuals feeling like we're winning. And this is going to sound a little bit counterintuitive, but actually one of the best things that every person in the game on any single role can do when you are winning a fight is play slowly. You want to save resources for when you need them rather than when you think you can just pop off and kill everyone with them. And this window is a perfect example of that. Yes, this window finds value. You shoot the Rhine, you deny value from the Nano, you keep him on cart, you overexpose him, all this kind of good stuff. But the reality is, we don't need this to kill the Reinhardt. We need to use the fact that it's overtime to force them on cart, and then we need to find I shouldn't say guarantee, we need to find more value from this window by syncing up availability from more of our team members, from syncing up timing with our tank line. No one on the tank line right now is looking at the Reinhardt, so there's no added pressure besides this window. This is leading to a situation where we're trading down our resources so aggressively that it doesn't matter how much of an advantage we started at, we're going to give up so much bigger of an advantage. And because on the flip side of things, on the attacking team, they're so focused on simple things like staying alive and touching the point that it's that much easier for them to coordinate and find win conditions because they're already all on the same page. Look how separated and split we are in terms of our focus right now. Frontline's over here trying to stop anyone from touching the cart, and they're doing a decent job. They almost killed the Ana. Our Hog's looking to now, again, just to highlight the desync, you were initially looking to punish the Rein for touching cart early because he's the only one on cart. You're probably thinking to yourself, hey, if he gets off cart, the cart stops, we end the point. Now Roadhog's thinking the same thing. Hanzo was also thinking the same thing, but look, this positioning from Roadhog, this ult from both you and Hanzo, none of these things have found value up to this moment. And actually, the Ana has found way more value from any of those three people from a single base cooldown in her nade. It's forced this location, it's opened up space for her team to rotate through. All of a sudden, there's no longer a kill box here because they've been forced back and because Roadhog has shifted his priorities. We are rushing. We think we can end this fight quickly because we have an advantage. And the reality is, having advantage means it forces the onus onto the enemy team to come back from disadvantage. If we try to use advantage as an excuse to make Hail Mary plays, as an excuse to make low percentage plays, as an excuse to trade down our resources, we're going to give up that advantage, and then all of a sudden the team that's clawing themselves up from the brink has all the opportunities in the world. So let's watch this a little bit more from third person here. So after the window, just gets shielded from the Rein. He gets damaged, sure. A nice shot from our Hanzo in the head. And then our Hanzo does the same thing. Hanzo's like, oh shit, if we kill Rein right now, we win the game. So he jumps into his face and expectedly gets grabbed, gets punished. Rein doesn't die because it was a low percentage play. He now has healing on him as the Rein. He gets shattered. Like, these are not complicated plays from the enemy team that they're finding. This shatter, this grab, like, they weren't even good grabs and shatters. But because we're also looking for just kind of random plays, it's now opened up space for the soldier. The Hog found 2 kills on the 2 enemy supports. Again, a huge advantage, but we're so desynced at this point that we have nothing left to stabilize this grab and this shatter. And now the enemy soldier's about to pop off and kill everybody. So again, if we're thinking about advantage states, and we're thinking about forcing fights that don't make sense, it's literally a matter of looking at how we commit cooldowns, how we reposition, and how we focus together. If we do all of those things individually, if we only use our things for ourselves, if we window for ourselves, finding individual value from the damage we're doing, if we reposition for ourselves, trying to contest cart as Baptiste, if we do things like maybe force lamp or shift or whatever it is just for ourselves, then there's nothing we're going to have to offer our team, and we're not going to have the opportunity to play not even like high level macro Overwatch, but we're not going to find the opportunity to overwhelm the opponent. The only person that was able to capitalize during this whole exchange was the Roadhog, who, like I said, he got 2 kills, but individually that wasn't enough because everyone else was also looking for individual value, and the enemy team got more value just by soaking damage as the Rein shield, just from getting a grab on a single target. These aren't big plays that they're making. It's us overplaying our hand and playing advantage state wrong. And unfortunate news is there is very little you can do as an individual in this moment. But what you can do is save your personal resources to help cover for other people making the same bad decisions. If our soldier thinks because we're winning this fight, he can drop on the ground behind them and look for attack visor, that's likely going to get him killed in the same way that this window didn't find value and put you in a bad position. So you can save your resources like lamp, maybe even your window, to offset the aggression from that play and keep him alive during those moments. You can use things like that Hog's aggression, which again found a lot of value, which maybe it was because of the attention on your window that he found value, but maybe if Hog was to do that first, you could then react with a window on the high ground here so that when Rein turns his shield to the Hog, you and Hanzo burst down that Reinhardt. But we don't do these things alone. The more we do things alone, the more chances we have for the enemy team to claw back. The more chances the enemy team has to trade up, to win duels, to get better value from their cooldowns. That's the situation we need to avoid when we're at advantage. And again, this is all mindset. This is all just us feeling like we've already won the game, so we can do whatever the hell we want. And that comes down to how we position, use our cooldowns, use our ultimates, and what we're focused on. If we're just solely focused on ourselves, what we can do in this moment, we're doomed to fail. Assuming the enemy team finds any amount of value. Like sometimes, like maybe 6 people decide to do individual stuff and then 6 people all find value. That can happen. It's not unheard of, but it's not consistent. And it's not, I never want to use the word guaranteed in Overwatch because anything can happen, but it's not a consistent win condition. It's not a consistent state. It's very much a do or die moment. And there's no reason to force a do or die moment when we're at advantage.